All right, let's go live. We are live. Okay, so we need to do a sound check. Let's do some sound check-in. Check in. We are pretty much halfway through March. Can you believe it? It is moving fast. We are in daylight savings time. We have longer days. So let's check for sound. We have sound there. I do want to clean this camera off just a little bit, clear that up, get that clear. Ooh, clumsy. And you can still hear me and you can see me better. Good. Okay. So we got one more sound check to do. Sound check, a 1 2 1 2. Sound checker. What's this on? Microphone wrecker. So let's see. Make sure we have sound. Hear me. We have sound. I really hate putting everybody through that at the beginning, but I have a couple videos where there is no sound for a good chunk of the video, and that's rather embarrassing, but I'm human, and I do know that my ideal client, that is for me, they still keep showing up. So we are here today and we are going to share. I am going to share, let me get my notes here. I am going to share with you how to scale your business without hustle, without burning out. I'm going to share my no burnout blueprint. And remember, all of this is coming to you as a recovering workaholic. Okay. I'm coming to you as a recovering workaholic. Like, I own it. And, one of the things I recognize as a workaholic is, especially because I'm single and I have no children at home living with me, I have more flexibility to, I won't say work around the clock, but, sometimes I'm bored. So I just do what I do. Okay. With that said, though, I do know how to have balance. So when my family needs to come first, my family comes first. Okay. When I'm with my grandchildren, they don't play that about me being in my phone, on my phone all day. My grandson will, like, you're not talking to me. You're not paying attention. He can tell if I'm listening to him while trying to do something else, and he will call it out. Right. And Callie is, she's a pandemic baby. So she definitely does not play that. So, even when I'm with friends, with business, people I do business with, I am clear to make sure that I'm paying attention and I'm fully present. And so I've really learned how to do this over the years. Okay. So let's be real. You didn't, leave a corporate job, or you're not thinking about leaving a corporate job just to leave one master to serve another. And by doing that, that manifests as exhausting yourself, working yourself to exhaustion. My mentor says, and this is what made her become my mentor, exhaustion is not the measuring stick, right? It's Women's History Month. A lot of us seem to think that we are supposed to work until we kill ourselves, work ourselves to the bone to prove our worth, right? To feel some sort of fulfillment or validity that never comes. You just get exhausted. It makes your waistline increase. It makes your hair fall out. You get a lot of stress, right? I was talking to someone yesterday, and she was sharing, how her hair had started falling out, and she knew it was stress because she started this new job, and it's, a cleanup job. And as someone who was branded as a cleanup lady in corporate America, I know exactly what she's talking about, right? So you didn't create a business. You're not creating a business to hustle 24/7 chasing every client. You created it for freedom. And freedom doesn't come from burnout. No matter what anybody is telling you, you cannot outwork the patriarchy. You cannot out earn the patriarchy. You cannot, how do I say it? I gotta find it. Where is it? But at the end of the day, you this whole idea of we live in a capitalistic society, I'm never going to lie to you. I'm always going to be real about that. We all got bills to pay, right? But you do not have to kill yourself in the process. And yes, there are seasons when you have to work more than others. For example, launching. A lot of people, a lot of women never launch because they are not putting in the extra hours and the work. They still are seeking work life balance. And when you are launching something and working a full-time job, even when you have a family and you're raising kids or grandkids or whatever it is that you're doing, you're just not going to have a lot of work-life balance. You have to understand that's the season that you signed up for. So I'm never going to lie to you about that. But this idea that there's sometimes I just feel this energy that it's about, the thought process behind it is you have to work yourself to the bone to get approval, to get validation, to prove your worthiness. And whether it's corporate America or a business, that is just not true. It's just not. Please take your power back. Take your power back, okay? Freedom doesn't have to come from burnout. It comes from building systems that work even when you're not online, okay? So if you're new here, my name is Tamara Hamilton, and this is exactly what we do inside the Luminary Path. So if you're ready to scale without hustle, stick with me, okay? Just stick with me, all right? So the problem is that most women entrepreneurs are working way too hard for too little return, okay? Working way too hard for too little return. And we've already kind of covered why that is, right? You're constantly on doing all the things for all the people. And some of you are doing too much for your customers, for your clients. I'm just going to keep it real with you. But you're doing all the things: lead generation, marketing, content, customer service, and yet the revenue doesn't reflect your effort. You're stuck in hustle cycles and broken systems. You're following advice from 2015 that's just simply outdated. We talked a little bit about that the last time I was live. You're in these boss babe cultures or contrarian spaces that sound empowering, but still leave you exhausted and overwhelmed. You've outgrown the do it yourself hustle and grind. What worked in year 1 or 2 is not what's going to sustain you now. We talk about that all the time. What got you here won't keep you here or take you there, right? You need more than hustle. You need leverage. You need leadership, okay? So let's talk about the no burnout blueprint, how I scaled without the hustle, okay? So there were some shifts. And this first shift was around building systems that do the heavy lifting, right? Because here's the reality: whatever your business is, it's likely something that you enjoy, right? For me, it happens to be marketing. I enjoy marketing. I enjoy creating marketing plans and strategies, creating offers, creating products, creating pricing structures, right? There are some things in my business that I don't enjoy doing. Some of them we won't talk about because I don't want no authorities coming after me, right? Or targeting me. But there are things that I don't enjoy doing because marketing is my natural skill set, right? I work with people who are they help self-publishing authors, right? They love that type of work, but they don't love marketing and sales, okay? So the thing is, you can't out hustle a broken system, right? So if there are things in your business that you don't enjoy doing, you need to either hire them out, or what I first recommend is getting systems in place that make it easier and that it can happen on autopilot for you, and just really simplify it. So because you know how it is when we procrastinate, we have this big mountain in front of our faces, right, in our heads, and we are just like, I just don't feel like dredging up this mountain, or even working out. But then once you start working out, you feel good. Okay. You might not feel good about some of these tasks, but as you complete them, you feel like, oh, that wasn't so bad. I don't know why I was dreading that. Right. And so inside the Luminary Path, we actually help you build systems that scale, whether it's automating or lead generation, streamlining content that converts, which one is one of the things I love to do, and creating offers that sell consistently, right? So some examples of that is I have a printer strategy that brings in qualified leads while I'm offline. I have evergreen offers that sell without me needing to pitch 24/7, right? So, some for some reason my Pinterest course has started moving again, so I've put a little more focus on that. But I'm not only selling that, there are other offers of mine that people are finding because of content online. I also do affiliate marketing, and I have some affiliate offers that have just really been booming online. And a lot of it has to do with me still showing up consistently with my content. And because I show up consistently, even though I may be talking about something that they're not interested in or even suited for, they know what they are suited for and what they are interested in, and they still buy that. So, like the other day, I sold $367 in one order of skincare. $367 worth of skincare without trying, without even mentioning it. $367 went out the door. And that was just one order that day. There were multiple orders, right? And this was a brand new customer, someone I never talked to, someone I don't even know who they are other than their name. And they made this order. Okay. So shift 2 is to stop chasing. We don't chase, we attract. That's one of my top threads in the last 30 days, talking about that, right? We don't chase, we attract. Your marketing should magnetize clients. And I have a whole blog post. One of my top performing blog posts talks about magnetized marketing versus mobilized marketing. In fact, I just did an updated video. I presented that to the divorce transition professionals of Southern California. So what that looks like is clients who are already looking for what you offer should feel pulled to you. Clients who fit your ideal client psychographics should already feel attracted to you because you're using the right words, you're using the right problems, and you're solving the right problems that they are interested in being in your ecosystem, being in your energy, and learning from you, right? And not only learning from you, because if you only post educational content, that's why you're not converting. You have to ask for the sale, right? So I'm going to teach you how to create aligned, authentic messaging that positions you as the leader. Now, I know I've been told this from a very early age. When Tamara Hamilton speaks, people listen. I get that, right? There's something about my voice and the way that I carry myself that people listen. But it's not just that, because what keeps people listening, what keeps people showing up is that I don't open my mouth about things that I don't know. And if I don't know, I am woman enough to say that I do not know and send you where you can go and find out if I know it, or tell you to go figure it out and find it. Okay. But I speak on things that I know, and I know them at a level of mastery. Now, you don't have to know them at a level of mastery to begin with, but you can document the process in your content. And in doing so, you will create authority because you will be ahead of your ideal client, right? And if you're still chasing people into the DMs, in the DMs, I should say, we will fix that, right? I don't cold message. I don't. Okay. I don't cold message. I message. I transact a lot. A lot of people don't realize messaging, for instance, Facebook Messenger, Instagram Messenger. That's where the people who are making money make money, is in Messenger and in their email, right? Because that's technically driving them offline of the platform, right? So we're going to fix that inside the Luminary Path, right? I have a client right now working on that exact shift. Okay. She's actually going to be sending me her scripting so we can review it and adjust it. Because, in the Luminary Path, you get access to message me as well. All right. And the third shift is to prioritize energy management as much as money management. I know myself. I know when I have my peaks, and I know when I have my valleys throughout the day. So I am the master of my schedule. Others do not tell me what my schedule is. I set my schedule based on what works for me. Okay. You can scale without sacrificing yourself. Okay. And one of the ways of doing that is, like I said, knowing thyself. When is your brain firing? right? When is your brain firing? I write a lot of my emails after 10 o'clock because you know how it is. I think it's scientific. When it's time to go to bed, that's when your brain starts. So I'm journaling, I'm writing emails, I'm writing content, hashing out ideas in my head before I go to bed. And that's what allows me to sleep, right? And then during the mornings, I'm not really a morning person. So I spend a lot of time relationship building, right? I schedule when people can Zoom with me. It's blocked out when they can Zoom with me and what they can Zoom with me for at a specific period of time. So I teach all of these things inside the Luminary Path. And 50% of it is one on one coaching because you need personalized strategy and support. And then there's the office hours that create community collaboration and co regulation without being noisy or draining. Okay. You're not isolated here, you're supported. And I know that's one of the things that I struggled with in my own business for a very long time. So let's talk about who the Luminary Path is for. It's for women entrepreneurs and service providers who are ready to scale beyond hustle. You've built something and you're tired of feeling like you're working too hard for too little. Girl, let me tell you, been there, done that, right? You want a high level container without the chaos, clicks, or high school lunch table vibes. Y'all know how I am about that. Woo! I dropped a friend. I dropped somebody that I knew for decades because of the high school lunch table stuff, right? I don't get down like that. Okay. You value strategy over hype and results over rage bait. Okay. You're ready for a CEO mindset, not a content hamster wheel. Okay. Again, I'm already giving you some of the sauce. Okay. Content that educates is not going to convert for you. It's going to build connection, which we do want, but you also need to convert. So we're going to go through, the types of content for each stage of the buyer's journey, right? Because not all content is created equal. You should not be just putting up sell, 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 buy my stuff, buy my stuff, buy my stuff. You're turning people off with that. You want personalized coaching, but you're done with the bro marketer tactics and hyper capitalist nonsense. Okay. So inside Luminary Path, you're going to get frameworks designed to grow with you. You're going to get one-on-one coaching. You're going to get monthly office hours, and we're focused on scaling sustainably. Because you really don't need another job. You should be able to get paid to exist. You should be able to receive just by existing because you have a business that works. The pricing is going up in June. Okay. So the best time to join and partner with me on this is now. You've waited long enough. Okay. So stop building systems that drain you. Let's build a business that feeds your life. Okay. So, I've worked with so many business owners over the years. I work a lot with business owners in the beauty space, right? And one of my favorites is esthetician from Alabama. And, she's partnered with me and worked with me in, very low entry ways, and she really wanted to increase her sales. And so when she came to me, she was making a couple $100 in sales. Within the first month, within the first few weeks, we actually got her to 5,000, then to 7,000, and then she was doing 10,000, right? So the second phase of working with her is to now create digital products, right? To, coach and mentor other people in her space, other estheticians, because she is a master esthetician, right? So we're doing this in a way that she is able to work without burning out and getting more sales. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. When you are launching, if you are not launching with an ad budget, if you're not launching with a paid professional proven copywriter, you are going to have to actually have contact with people. You are, right? The way the algorithms are now, and I don't want to blame this on the algorithm. I need you to understand that these social media platforms are not only businesses, they are, trillions of dollars in what you call market capitalization. So if you take all of their outstanding shares and multiply them by the current stock price, which changes it by the minute, they are valued at trillions of dollars, which by the way, Facebook did not buy TikTok. I need y'all to stop putting that out there because it's just not even possible. Okay. So they are trillions of dollars in capitalization. They have shareholders that they have to keep happy. Okay. I know there's concern about the stock market crashing. They have things in place to, in as much as possible, not saying it's impossible, to prevent something like, Black Monday, or like what happened back during to kick off the Great Depression, right? And so because of that, you have to understand when they first came out, yeah, their algorithm is a lot looser. Their algorithm is going to let you get in front of all kinds of people and have all kinds of success. But having shareholders means they got to turn a profit. And that means they need to keep people on their platform so that they can show them ads. Okay, so you got to play by their rules and you got to play by their game. And that's why it's important to have messaging. That's why and I mean, getting in Messenger and having, moving people through a funnel. Your content should actually be a funnel and be a part of a bigger funnel, is basically what I'm telling you. And that's what I teach you in the luminary path, right? And so not only should it be a funnel, you need to understand that the customer who just bought from you for the first time is very different than the customer who already knows you. Okay, so you have to know that, right? And so there you can ascend both, but you're ascending them to different places. Okay, so there's no reason that anyone should be feeling burned out in their business in 2025. There's just no reason for that. I don't care what the hyper capitalists are telling you. I don't care about the hyper individualism. It's just, you need community, first of all. And some of the people preaching these things to you, it's like, oh my God, I need to find my notes. It's just crazy because they're telling you not to do things and they're speaking against certain things, but then yet they're actually doing the stuff to you that they're telling you to turn away from and run from, right? So you just got to keep that in mind, and you have to use your discernment. I have a whole video on fine tuning your discernment, and it is on YouTube. It hasn't made it to my blog yet, but you can go and check that out, because during these times you really need to be able to use your discernment. Right, so you have to use your discernment. If you're not using your discernment, that's going to be a problem. You deserve to get taken, right? Because most of us are college educated. We here's the quote. It was, they told you to leave the village, then charged you rent to at their table, and you think you're and you think you're winning because they handed you a seat, but the lease is on a month to month basis, right? That's a quote I came up with. They told you to leave the village, be worry about yourself, don't worry about the rest of the community, and then charge you rent at their table, and you think you're winning because they handed you a seat, but the lease is month to month, right? You can't, right? You just have to know that um, capitalism basically always resorts to cannibalism. Just know that. That's all I'm gonna say about that. It pretty much becomes cannibalism, right? So I did a post, that you can't out hustle white supremacy, you can't out earn patriarchy, and you for sure can't outwork capitalism, because capitalism is just like feed me Seymour. It's gonna always want more and more and more. And I'm not saying that wanting more, doing more, and growing are bad things, but it needs to be healthy and not toxic. Okay, so you got to keep that in mind. Okay, but I love that quote. They told you to leave the village, then charged you rent at their table, and you think you're winning because they handed you a seat, but the lease is month to month. Okay, remember that, right? you know some of this hyper capitalism talk, some of this hyper individualism talk is really pick me for the patriarchy, pick me for white supremacy is really what it is, because it's rooted in daddy issues. And again, this is coming from a recovering workaholic, right? It's coming from daddy issues, right? Or whichever parent, because in most, whether your parents are in the same house or not, if you have access to both of your parents, most people tend to prefer one parent over the other, right? The good cop versus the bad cop thing. And often the absent parent is seen as the good cop, right? And so, what I learned, I wish I could remember which book I read it in, but it hit me like a ton of bricks when it was like, you know, your relationship with your boss, if you see your boss or mentor in a certain fashion, you need to look at, which parent did you, and it might even be Tony Robbins who said this, which parent did you favor, and were you always, performing, doing best to get their approval from? And for some people, that parent is the patriarchy, that parent is corporate America, that parent is white supremacy. And a lot of this hyper capitalism talk, this leaving black people behind talk, this which is hyper individualistic talk, it's basically supporting white supremacy, and people don't even realize it when they're saying it. They're blind to it. Sadly, they're blind to it. They're basically, they think they are creating a path to their own freedom, which, again, that goes back to the big house versus working in the fields. But it is still very much, you're putting yourself in danger. I mean, every time they tell us, we always overcome, right? We always surpass the situation that they set up for us to fail in. Prime example right now, the farmers, and a lot of them voted for DJT, and things are happening, and now they're not getting their funding and this and that. But who's not struggling? Who's actually thriving? The black farmers, because they never benefited from any of that stuff. Same within the Great Depression, right? When you look at the Great Depression, Cadillac was a failing brand. Cadillac is here today because they were able to make it through the Great Depression. Because who had cash to buy Cadillacs? Black people did, because banks wouldn't work with them. Banks wouldn't let them keep their money there. So they had money during the Great Depression to buy Cadillacs, and Cadillac is still a brand to this day, right? Not a black owned one, but just think about that, right? I'm not saying capitalism is bad. I'm not saying, clearly, if you want to make it in this world, you have to engage with and participate in capitalism, right? You do. But worshiping it, making it your God, I don't recommend that. You're going to get your feelings really, really hurt, and really, really quickly, right? If you think capitalism, in the pursuit of it, hyper focused on it, is going to be the answer to the problem, and just worry about yourself, you might want to look at Tulsa, Black Wall Street, right? You might want to look at some other things that have happened. And, some of them people, they've been itching to have that kind of activity going down again. And they are trying to set up the environment for them to do those kinds of things now. Now, I'm not saying to not go after your dreams, to not build the biggest, grandest version of your dreams. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the intent behind it. I'm talking about where you envision the end destination, right? Um, we as a people are a community based, a social, right? Most people of color come from cultures that are very tribal in nature. And you're basically going against your nature when you are hyper focused on capitalism and individualism. Sit with that. I'm going to hold your hand. I'm going to hold your hand while you sit with that. You're working against your own nature in the name of rage bait, in the name of Coon Owens, right? You think they're going to let a whole bunch of people get away with that? And they got her on a tight leash. All that she did about Blake Lively and that was her auditioning for the show that she has now, right? That was her proving herself and her worth. Res ipsa loquitur, the thing speaks for itself. My body of work speaks for itself. I'm not jumping through hoops for anybody. Either you want it or you don't. And if not, next. This or something better. So you got to be very careful listening to some of this stuff because it's coming from places that are not healed. The reason I can speak to this with conviction, with calmness at the same time, is because I had to, as a recovering workaholic, I had to explore how I got myself in this position to be overworked, to be underpaid, to feel used and abused, because it just wasn't work. It was in multiple areas of my life that I was feeling that way. And I had to do the shadow work. I meant to bring that journal over here. I had to do the shadow work. I had to get down and dirty with myself. I had to face those deep, dark crevices and figure out how I allowed myself to get in that situation. Why? So that I would not put myself back in that situation. Because that's part of where at one point my business stalled and was not growing because I couldn't get to that next level because I had this fear. I didn't want to burn myself out. Right? I didn't, because if your body can't keep taking that when you keep working yourself to exhaustion and burning yourself out. Right? So I had to explore what was it in me that felt that I had to work like that. So I'm coming to you from a healed place. You can take it and you can do with it what you want. That's how you know it's healed, right? You also don't hear me coming to you talking about what I need you to do because it ain't about me. It's about you, boo. It's about you. What is best for you, and I'm always going to tell you only you know the answer to that. I can help you figure out the thought process. I can help you figure out frameworks, but there are pieces of this that you have to do. So if you are looking to work with a coach that is going to tell you exactly what you do to do and you better do it and basically become that disciplinarian parent, I ain't the one. I'm not the one, because then you get to blame me when it doesn't work. When I'm finished with you, if it doesn't work, you're going to know that either it wasn't the timing or it was something beyond our control or it was you, it wasn't me. And I'm not saying that in the sense that I want to make you blame yourself or sit and punch yourself up, punch yourself and beat yourself up. That's not what I'm saying at all. The goal is to do the work, to do the transmutation, to do the alchemy, to take whatever is in here holding you back and make it work for your good. Ooh, that was good. But it's true. Because we're overcomers. But we often just get to this point where we feel, okay, we've overcome. Now there shouldn't be anything else to overcome. And there is. It's just a part of life. It's just a part of life. There is. There's still more to overcome and keep growing. Because if you stop growing, you know what happens, right? If a flower or a plant stops growing, if it's not cultivated, the leaves start to wither, turn brown, and okay. I get it though. A lot of us, we just want to be. We just want to be because we've always been worked to the bone for our labor. Even our own families do it to us, especially, you know what I'm going to say, if you're the oldest daughter, oldest grandchild, and oldest niece. Everybody wants to work you to the bone. Everybody feels entitled to your labor, right? And it's not that I don't love them. It's not that I don't give my labor to them, but it's going to be on my terms. I'm not going to throw myself in front of a bus for anybody anymore. And I know people that for their clients, or if they're building teams in network marketing and direct sales, they feel like they have to be mother hen and do everything for their clients. And that is weird. You know, No. Mm-mm. When I was building teams, both in corporate and in network marketing and direct sales, I'm not doing the work for you. I will do it with you. I will teach you. I will do it with you, but I'm not doing it for you. Just not happening. And my own children will tell you that same thing. In fact, my daughter was texting me about something earlier, and I said, I don't know why you always ask me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm flattered that you do, but you know the answers. Just trust yourself and trust your intuition. You know what you're doing. You got this, right? And so we have to peel away a lot of that noise. The family member that's telling you you need to get a job, the family member telling you not to leave your job, the family member telling you, that'll never work, right? And they're not always coming from a place of being malicious. It can be from a space of love and wanting to protect you. And it got to the point for me, I had to choose to know and believe that it was not coming from malice. I had to just put malice out of the equation and choose to know and believe that it was coming from a space of wanting to protect me of concern. Wasn't the easiest thing to do, but for my own sanity, for my own growth, for my own success, it's what I had to do. And I'm glad that I did. I do it that way over and over again. So, sometimes we have to have these little talks. We have to work things out and again, make it, frame it, reframe it so that it works for us and not against us, so that we can move forward and walk in our destiny, walk in our power, walk in our purpose. So I'll see what questions we have, and then we can go back to the top because I see some new people who were not here at the beginning when we talked about, the fact that we're talking about scaling your business without hustle. It's my no burnout blueprint. There's 3 shifts that I had to make to be able to scale my business, and the Luminary Path was built around this. I don't know if you know the history of the Luminary Path, but the Luminary Path was built for a time. It was created for a time such as this, based off of how, with decreasing resources in 2009, I was able to lead my corporate team to victory when the odds were very much against us, and there was the mortgage crisis and we were heading into recession, and we had an incredible year because of my leadership, right? And so the things that I learned then, the things that I've learned since then in pivoting and growing my business, right? Like in 2020, when everybody thought the world was coming to an end because of the shutdowns, I was like, oh God, no, this is going to tell. Now we're about to see who's really about their business and who's not. Uh-huh. And it was a great year for me, right? I mean, it was a great year for a lot of people, but a lot of people don't know business. They didn't understand business cycles. So then when things started to normalize, they thought the world was ending, the world was falling. And so then a lot of people went back to work. When, I was talking to somebody about, I was talking to Adrian when we recorded the interview for the business mastermind that's happening in April. So make sure you get on my email list and that you are following me so that you know when that mastermind goes live. And we were talking about trends, right? And we were talking about my business framework and how I conduct business and how it has worked for me no matter what was happening with the algorithm, no matter what cycle or stage that social media was in, because we talked about the fact that social media is now in maturity, right? And so we are in maturity algorithms, and maturity algorithms mean, yeah, you're going to post content, but you still need to be making contact. It's content and contact. Okay. Shake your head with me. I'll hold your hand. Shake your head with me. Hmm. It's content and contact. It's both. Okay. You have to do both, right? They work together. They work together, right? Just like this, right? There are times where content is going to run for you. There's time when contact is going to work for you. There are going to be times when you're contacting all kinds of people and it just seems like you're not getting anywhere. But my 32 years, going on 33 years of sales, marketing, and leadership experience tells me that even if I for a week, for 2 weeks, pound that virtual pavement in Messenger, in email, and nothing happens, I know there's going to be a big burst coming out of that pipeline at some point in the near future. I know that. And that's what allows me to keep going, even if I'm not seeing the immediate results that I want right away. But I choose to know and believe. I know in my heart, there is no way I can do all of these income producing activities and not see the fruit of my labor. Right? Here's the thing, a lot of you are doing the right things. You're just not doing enough of the right things, or you're not doing the right things often enough, consistently enough. You're consistent, is just not the level of consistency that you need to see the consistent results in your business, right? It's like I talk about, a lot of people think, oh, they make one post, right? People join Pen Profits Mastery. They make one board, put a few pins on there, and they're not a millionaire collecting orders in their sleep, even though they've been warned and they've been told this is a long game. And they just, oh, it's too much for too little. No, it's not. No, it's not. Once you get it going, it is incredible. It's incredible. It's where $367 orders come from for skincare that I had nothing to do with other than some content that I created over 2 years ago, sold it to them. And that's just the actual factual. That's the reality of it, right? So you need to make these three shifts, right? The why most women entrepreneurs burn out is because you're working way too hard for little return. You're constantly on doing all the things: lead generation, marketing, content, customer service. And that's not even talking about what it is that you actually do for your clients, right? And yet the revenue doesn't reflect the effort. Okay, you're burning out because you're stuck in hustle cycles and broken systems. You're following advice from 2015 that's outdated. You're in these boss babe cultures or contrarian spaces that sound empowering, but yet still leave you exhausted and overwhelmed. And I'm not telling you that some of what I do, you're going to look at it and look at all those little bitty steps and be like, God, that's a lot. But there's such little things that when you do them, you're like, oh, that was easy. And then you're ready to do the next thing. They're not as complex as people make them out to be. It's just, they just want to do one thing and boom. And this is capitalism. This is patriarchy. It's not going to allow you to just do one little thing and boom, you're set for life. That just does not happen. There is no such thing as an overnight success. Most overnight successes are 7 to 12 years in the making. Okay? And you're also burned out because you've outgrown the do-it-yourself hustle and grind. What worked in year 1 or 2 is not what's going to sustain you now, right? What got you here won't get you there. You need more than hustle. You need leverage. You need leadership. You need community, right? So let's reframe this, right? With these shifts. The first shift is you're going to build systems that do the heavy lifting. You cannot out-hustle a broken system, right? And the Luminary Path is going to help you build systems that scale, whether it's automating leads, streamlining content that converts, because educational content is part of it. But if that's all you do, that's why you're not converting. And creating offers that sell consistently, right? For example, I have a Pinterest strategy that brings in qualified leads and drives traffic to my blogs, to my landing pages while I'm offline. And that's why when I'm with my grandkids, I can give them my full attention. And that's what they're used to. Tristan will be 11 soon. And that is what he is used to. He cracked me up the other day. He was like, so do you still talk on the phone with Carmelo Anthony's wife? And I thought about it after, like the next day, like, how did he? So I got to talk to him about that, right? My evergreen offers that sell without me needing to pitch 24/7. I've been sitting at his basketball game. I've been sitting at my grandson's basketball game and sold digital products in other countries. I've woken up, is that a word? I've had mornings where I wake up and there are, like, I just talked about this the other day. I was saying $500 orders, and then 2 days ago I got a $367 order from somebody that I do not know from the man in the moon. It's content that converts without me having to pitch 24/7. All right, shift 2, stop chasing, start attracting. Write it down. I don't chase, I attract. What is for me can't miss me. And that's like, if you really, I won't say I'm anti-hustle, because there are seasons where you have to hustle more than others. But this constantly, like, you know, like in network marketing and direct sales, that, oh, it's the last of the month, so it's the last day of the month, so I need to be up until, no, if you worked the rest of the month the way you were supposed to, you should be able to, the end of the month should be like any other day. You're just tying up whatever loose ends are out there, right? So, you know, this whole chasing, I'm not chasing anybody. One of my signature programs from a few years ago, Influence Booster, the whole tagline was become the hunted and stop being the hunter. Okay, so your marketing should magnetize, it should pull in clients who are already looking for what you have to offer. Right now, I'll be honest, in the season that we're in right now and heading into, you're going to be leaning more toward mobilized marketing. And that's okay, because that's why you'll have the luminary path, to get the scripting, to get the method, to get the rhythm of what you need to be mobilizing in order to get your needs met, right? I'm going to teach you how to create aligned, authentic messaging that positions you as a leader. And if you're still into chasing people in the DMs, we're going to teach you how to do it without being sleazy, spammy, you know, any of that, right? We're going to fix that right inside the luminary path. And then there's the final and third shift, which is prioritizing your energy management as much as money management. Managing your energy, giving yourself rest, allowing yourself to rest, because the energy of receiving actually includes rest. It includes working from your power and not panic. It includes, you know, having the self-concept to know that you are worthy just because you are, and you don't have to hustle yourself to the bone. Now, there's nothing wrong with hustling because you've got a big goal or you're trying to get to the next level. But hustling for the sake of hustling, or hustling because capitalism says you have to hustle, that's not going to work for you or me. And you'll find out. You'll see it in your blood pressure. You'll see it in your waistline. You'll see it when the panic attacks start. Okay? So you can scale without sacrificing yourself. You know, we'll talk about managing your calendar and time blocking. We'll talk about knowing yourself throughout the day and scheduling your tasks and scheduling your day so that you can have times of rest within your day. It's okay to take those power naps, right? You know, I used to talk about this a lot more, about how for years in my business, one, I felt I had to hustle on the weekends, and, you know, coming from that blue collar family, which was once agrarian, you know, like farmers and agriculture, and that I had to be up before the crack of dawn. When the way my body works is, and some of it was hormonal, I later found out, you know, I was more of a night owl. And so, you know, anybody judging me for still being asleep at, which a late morning for me is 8 o'clock, especially if the sun is up, doesn't, you know, and knowing that I was a night owl, can kiss my ass. Let me just keep it real. They can kiss my ass, right? Because while they were in bed, I was still up doing the thing. Right? I was still up doing the thing, right? A lot of people will tell you to get up early in the morning to be ahead. The early bird gets the worm. Where I'm even earlier than you, because I stayed up late writing my emails, and my emails go out and they're already in their inbox. So I already beat you, right? So you have to know yourself, know your body, know your circadian rhythm, and schedule around that, not when people say that you should be available to them, and setting those expectations with your clients, right? So in Luminary Path, you're going to get one-on-one coaching because you need personalized strategy and support. You're going to get monthly office hours where we create community, collaboration, and co-regulation without being noisy or draining. And you're not going to be isolated. You're going to be supported, right? So let's talk about who the Luminary Path is for, okay? Women entrepreneurs and service providers who are ready to scale beyond hustle, who you've built something and you're tired of feeling like you're working too hard for too little. I know that feeling. I remember that feeling, right? It's part of why I love direct sales and network marketing. You want a high-level container without chaos, clicks, or that high school lunch table vibe, right? A lot of what Meghan Markle is experiencing is that high school lunch table vibe, okay? You value strategy over hype and results over rage bait. You're ready for a CEO mindset, not a content hamster meal. You want personalized coaching that is tailored to you, not for everybody else. It's not just based on me, right? Because what worked for me and my business may not work for you and yours. So it's much more about the thought process and the frameworks to develop those processes. But you're done with bro marketer tactics and hyper capitalistic nonsense. So what is the Luminary Path? You get a framework that you get multiple frameworks that are designed to grow with you. You get the one-on-one coaching. You get monthly office hours that are going to be strategic, high value community support. And it's focused on scaling sustainably. So you don't need another job, right? If I hear one more person talking about having 2 or 3 full-time jobs, like that is not healthy. That is not healthy at all. You need a business that works. Pricing is increasing soon, so the best time to join is now. You have waited long enough. Stop building systems that drain you. Let's build a business that feeds your life. Let's build a business that you can design your business around your life, right? So if you're done with hustle culture, if you're ready to lead differently, let's talk. Drop ready in the chat or message me, Luminary, and let's get you inside before the price goes up. I've been working with all kinds of clients, but I'm most known, y'all know me from my many years in beauty, and my frameworks exploded people's businesses, right? Exploded. I have helped clients go from a couple $100s of sales every now and then, sporadically, to consistently $10,000 or more in sales. It's not hard to do. You just need the accountability. You need the systems. You need the frameworks. You need the leadership. And you too can go from a couple $100s a month to $10,000 in sales a month, $20,000 in sales a month, whatever you choose to do. There's a lot that we can do together. We can't do everything that I can do for you inside of the Luminary Path, but we have a very structured plan that I work through every client with, beginning with your goals, beginning with your daily income producing activities. You know, I've had coaching clients that I lost because I don't know what magic bullet they thought I was going to give them. But when I started holding them accountable for not doing the activities, they didn't want to work with me anymore, and that's fine. And they also didn't get a refund because the terms and conditions are clear. And they're available, and you know where to find them. Okay? So I'm going to get ready to go. I may come back live later. I'm not sure, but we're pushing on an hour here, and I've got a lot of other things to do today, but I wanted to come on. You know, it came to me late last night, so I already knew when I got up this morning that I would be going live today and talking about how to scale without burnout, because I get a lot of concern when I keep hearing some of these messages. I'm not saying this is a season of rest. I'm saying you can have rest while you hustle, right? I'm saying don't hustle for them. Hustle for your dreams. Hustle for your goals. But you can still hustle smartly and without burnout. You can create harmony in your life, because what is for you is not going to miss you. I'm not saying you just get to, you know, even because I know my family, when they see me say, I get paid to exist, or I receive just by existing. I'm still working, boo. I'm still working. You still have to take the action. You still have to be active. You do. Until you have enough where you can do less. But even, I've been telling y'all, a lot of those people are a lot more active than they ever have been. Because that's the season we're moving in. We're moving in contact and content. You got to do both. Contact and contact. Content and content. Okay? So just remember. And when you're ready to take it to the next level, because let's talk about this for a minute. Some of y'all are stuck because you keep going for free coaching. You just want everything for free. Number one, you got to get in the flow. You've got to get in the flow. You got to get in the circulation. Money is a currency. It circulates. There is a current. And you wanting to get everything for free, you get what you give. You get what you give. And stop listening to people who don't know what they're talking about. I don't know a single business that started without having to have some capital. Y'all be listening to the craziest things. The craziest things. You don't ever start a business that you have to put money into. What? Hey, girl. You caught me as I'm about to get off. But you will be able to watch the replay. The replay. Natasha has worked with me on several things before. I was thinking about the other day when you called me Trill. I had to look that up. I wasn't sure what it meant, but it meant what I thought it meant contextually. But yeah. So yeah. Which happens often. Yes, girl. We were just chatting recently. We definitely need to at least do some strategy sessions or power calls for what you are doing, what you've got coming up, what your goals are and where you're headed. So yeah, I am gonna get ready to go now. And there are seasons like last year going live, especially on the Clock app. Longer lives do well. Longer lives do well. But you also have to know when you need to be making contact, right? These platforms are not about to let y'all make all kinds of money on their platforms and they not get their piece. You just got to understand that, right? I talked about this the other day. Facebook, July 8th, I believe, live videos will only be stored for 30 days. I already have my system in place. I'm not even worried. Every live I have on multiple platforms and I have in multiple vaults, including TikTok. In fact, I got to clean my laptop up again because it started moving a little slow. I cleaned my laptop up again because I got lots of videos on there and I need to get them off there because they're in their respective places. I just need to get them off of my computer. Okay? But that is a move. That is a strategic move. That's one way that they lower their costs because they are a business. They have shareholders that they have to make a profit for. Okay? And we got to start, I'm not saying get into with the bro marketing stuff, but we do have to embrace some capitalism. Okay? We do. We got to understand business, right? I just think we can do it better as women. That's just my thought. But the move is going to be, there are some features that you get for free now that you will either have to pay for, and what I actually think is going to be more of a hybrid, where with Facebook, whatever it is with the blue check mark, you're going to have to pay for that to get access to certain features, and then you're only going to get a limited amount of that, and then over and beyond, you're either going to pay for it or you're going to pay credits, right? Sam Altman with ChatGPT is already proposing, some sort of credit-based system so that you don't, because I only pay for the $20, right? I'm not paying them I I just don't see the need for that. And I asked ChatGPT and it told me I didn't need to, right? And so they started playing with things, and you only get so much access to this, you only get so much access to that. And so he did a tweet about what if we move to credits, and then that way you could have unlimited access to whatever, as long basically you have the credits for it. Don't fall for the hype, right? So trust me, you're gonna end up paying more than $20 a month. Give me what I got for $20 a month, and then let me choose to buy additional credits that don't expire, that I can use when my $20 runs out every month. If I had my way, if it went the way that I would like to see it go, that's what would go down. That's how it would occur. Okay, so just know that what has been free, we are in the maturity cycle, and they have to keep extending the life cycle, right? And so some of these things that have been free are no longer going to be free. Because I'm a power user. I have a syndication strategy. My lives play multiple times, like the Brady Bunch or the Cosby Show, okay? My lives play multiple times without me actually being live. And the people that know, and if you don't, it's okay. And I have content that was created in 2024 and 2025 selling products from 2018. Actually, content that was created in 2018 selling product that was created in 2024 and 2025. Because they do it on TV, why can't I, right? So that means, yeah, I got a lot of live video they're going to have to delete. But they ain't taking nothing from me because I got all my live videos. I did that project over 2 years ago where I pulled all my live videos down. And they're all safe and secure. I know people who've had whole YouTube and Vimeo channels gone. And I mean boss content. A lot of it would be outdated now, but boss content just gone. They could have charged, right? They could have updated and kept that content paying them residually with minimal updates at quarterly or semi-annually or annually. And it's gone. And that's why I always teach, have multiple vaults and don't put all your eggs in one basket. You need to be omni-channel. You need to be omnipresent. Your pair and a spare. Your pair cannot be owned by the same entity. And I'm updating to say that your pair needs to include something that is SEO driven, like Pinterest or YouTube or TikTok if it stays around. See what I just did there? See how I said I update? I've talked about several things here. My messaging has been consistent and clear from day one, and I update it to keep it relevant and not outdated. And that's working smarter, not harder. You feel me? That's how you keep from burning out. The other day I shared how with my blogging content, when I help people with their website and their blog. I'm not a web designer. That's not what I do. I am a strategist. Okay? So there is strategy, there is deliberation behind everything that I help my clients with, right? And so I don't create websites, but I'm going to tell you, you need to have this here, you need to have this here, you need to have this here, so that you're collecting leads, so that you can convert people in your sleep. Your website is going to become more and more important. Don't want to say that. AI improved the ranking of TamaraHamilton.com. And very, very quickly. And I don't mean me using AI. I mean the fact that people were searching for me on AI improved both the authority and the ranking of my website. There are some other things I did. Months ago, like 6 months ago, I made some major changes to my About page. That helped. But your web pages in this world of AI search, and AI search taking more search from Google, you would think that that would mean your website is not as important, but it is, because AI is searching websites. I hope you're picking up what I'm throwing down, right? In a world where algorithms are favoring, especially that blue app, they're favoring a lot of mis and disinformation. What used to be the Bird app, a lot of mis and disinformation. And having your own website, oh my God, this could be a whole other live. I'm excited. I need to contain myself. I said I was gonna go. But check this out. By having a website that you own, in as much as you can own it, because you don't provide your own hosting, and a host can kick you off. They can, shut off your hosting and make you go find hosting elsewhere, which means you got to kind of migrate or start all over, which is neither here nor there right now. But one of the reasons you want to own that is, as you are making contact with people and they have questions, instead of you repeating yourself over and over again, what if you had a page on a domain that you own that answers their questions, and you send them that page? When I was with Motives, when I sold beauty, when I sold customized skincare, oh, that's a great question. And you know what? This resource answers that. When I tell you that people watched me for upwards of 24, 32 months before pulling the trigger, and I didn't know they were there, but when they were ready, they showed up in my inbox, and they were ready. They just felt like they needed to have contact with me before pulling the trigger. It happens to this day. That's the power of content. But it wasn't like, somebody just said this to me in Messenger. I was really intrigued by your free training on Pinterest because it was very educational and not salesy. But I'm always asking for the business, baby, because I understand if the closed mouth don't get fed. But not all of my content is asking for the business. I've got a blog that is very educational, but on every post it asks for the business. So I can send out the blog post as a resource, as a tool, and it's another ask without me having to open my mouth or feel salesy or spammy or scammy. That's why you need leadership. That's why you need a strategist, right? Because as far back as 2013, 2014, they were telling people they didn't need websites. Yes, you do. You need a website that you own and that you control, and not in a high school Mean Girls kind of control way, not in a Karen kind of control way, in a strategic business matter of control way. You need a website. I'm not going to be the one to set it up for you. I can help you strategically with it, but I'm not setting it up. Because when it breaks, I'm not fixing it. I don't have me up in the middle of the night. I made that mistake one time, never again. Never again, right? Natasha was on here, her and I were having this conversation very recently. She was asking about tools and resources. And what did I do, Tasha? I was able to send her to links that I own, that are mine, to answer those questions, to affiliate links. That's where your affiliate links come in. Everything is strategy and leadership, baby. See, you don't have because you're not leading. You're following. Stop following and start leading. Some of y'all out here literally sounding like puppets, repeating what someone else said, and without even thinking about and using your discernment on what they said. Because it's not always that they're being evil and malicious. Remember, I said that. It just may not apply to you and your business. It just may not be the best move or the smart move for you and your business as it is. It may require some tweaking, modifying, adjusting, and controlling to work for you and your business. And that is why in the Luminary Path, you get one-on-one coaching. Yes, and I appreciate your on-the-spot assistance. That's how you work smarter, not harder. You have your blog, you have your website that answers questions, right? Now you can go to ChatGPT and you can say, this is what I offer, this is who I serve, what are frequently asked questions that I can anticipate. And then from there, the reason you need to be having contact with people and heavily in the beginning is one, so that you can really know your ideal client and make sure you are in alignment with solving their problem. Okay? You also need to learn their language so that you can use their exact words and their exact language, not against them, but for them, to help them make decisions. Okay? You also are going to learn those questions that they ask over and over and over again, and now you can create content to address that, and you don't have to keep repeating yourself over and over and over again. Catch that? That was a horrible accent. Maybe not. Maybe it wasn't that horrible. Okay? You see that? You see how this works? But they're not going to tell you that. They're going to make you hustle yourself to the bones. I'm not against hustle. But it's like taxes. I ain't hustling no more than I have to. I ain't hustling no more than I have to. I'm going to find some efficiencies. And they got to be effective. Because being efficient and effective is not the same thing. Right? I want both efficiency and effectiveness. Okay? So you have to understand that. And that's why you need the luminary path. I mean, I've sat with people and they talk about they have a lead magnet, and you go to their website and they learned, they got consulted by somebody who doesn't even have a website, who's not even on social media. And the lead magnet is horrible. It's not even lead magnet worthy. It doesn't solve a problem at all. It's just like, oh, there's this, let's make that free. And I'm not talking about this person because it's somebody that I adore and a customer. But this is just, you know, sometimes I got to be a little animated for you to get it, okay? Just because they speak with authority doesn't mean they actually have authority. Please understand that. But some of y'all lead magnets don't lead anywhere. Some of y'all lead magnets don't lead anywhere. They don't lead the prospect to the next logical step. You don't even know what the next logical step is because you didn't create it with intention. You just created it because you were told you needed to have a lead magnet because somebody said, I'm going to need you to create a lead magnet. No. People are not going to do it because you need them to do it. So if you're talking like that, please stop. Your children, your team members at work, quote unquote subordinates, nobody's going to do anything just because you tell them to do it. They need to know what's in it for them, why it's important to them. See, this is why I don't leave when you say you're supposed to leave. Call me out, call me out, call me out, call me out. Because you know, sometimes I end up hyping myself up and I get excited and I get to going. Right? Because I could go for hours. I could go for hours. I could just talk and talk and talk about this stuff because I love it, right? But there's just so much that I see. There's so much that I see and experience in conversations. I love Messenger for that reason. I love having the conversations because they give me so much insight and they help me serve better, right? If you're not selling, it's because you're not serving. You need to show up and you need to serve. You need to show up and you need to serve. If your content is not getting engagement, are you serving? And serving means going to your followers, going to their content and engaging with it. I know there are times when we're too busy and we don't feel like, I will never suggest and engage with an engagement pod, but these platforms right now, Facebook is on the decline. Their monthly active users is declining. So you need to be engaging in other people's content right now. You do. for multiple reasons. Okay. Worked myself up into a sweat, Tasha. I forgot to turn the other fan toward me. Actually, the last time I did it, I could hear it on the mic. That's why I didn't do it. So I am going to have to go, though, because I need to order me some lunch and get some sustenance. But stop working yourself to the bone. There is a seat for you inside the Luminary Path. It is a hybrid program of both one-on-one personalized coaching along with creating community and office hours, because I believe community is going to be integral to the upcoming years. And some of y'all, you better get your hustle shoes on right now, right? Because again, I'm not anti-hustle. I am pro working smarter, not harder, right? And my pricing is really not aligned. And I'm going to be fixing that. But that was an intentional decision to roll the Luminary Path out at the price point that it is, but it will be going up. So I would get in the Luminary Path ASAP. There's two options. You can pay in full, you can pay monthly, and either way, I don't know how it will work with monthly, but if you pay in full, you can still put that on a payment plan and save money. So that's entirely up to you. Okay, you get to decide. But I gotta go because I've got a 3 o'clock and some other Zooms, so I gotta eat because I gotta adhere to my schedule, right? I gotta work. I gotta adhere to my schedule, right? And by the way, my schedule has flexibility in it. It's not rigid, but it's based upon what works for me. It's about me managing my energy. So just as important as managing your money is, you need to manage your energy. To make that very easy for you to understand, you got to save some you for you, boo. Tilt my head the other way. Hold your hand when I say it. You've got to save some you for you. You've got to learn how to say, I will do that. I will help you with that. But after I do this, or I will be able to help you with that at this time or that date. Just because it's their emergency does not mean it's an emergency on your part. Okay? Someone said to me, I have been talking to them for a while about Pin Profits Mastery. So I circled back with them and they politely said they didn't have the bandwidth for that now. Now I know what corporate talk that is, but I didn't get mad because I've used that line myself. I just don't have the bandwidth for that right now. Right? So, okay, that's cool. If there's any way that I can support you, let me know and I got you. All right? So, all right, Tasha, I'm really going to go this time. I'll see y'all on the next live. Bye. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.